My job on the team is to CAD the 3D printed models for the team and for the robot. As you can see me working on here, this is the bucket that is going to be the main intake system of the robot. This is designed to take in the pixels and put them on the backboard. I've been using a program called Fusion 360 and designed by Autodesk. It's a really nice software. I've made this mostly in sketches and we 3D printed it on a CR10 Max.
So this year our robot design differed a lot from last year's with several key elements. First, our chassis was expanded to give us room to place our linear slide, which is basically how we move pixels up and down. The robot being widened, that also shortened it and allowed us to use a different lifting mechanism than last year that takes a little bit more space within the robot. Our drivetrain itself didn't differ much from last year other than the fact that we're not using odometry pods, and that lets us mount our two back motors inside the channel, which is basically the framework that our robot is held together with. And that allows us to have a little more space to work with on the back end of the robot. That also more evenly distributes our weight. Our slide, which is a very efficient way of moving things up and down, as it can be driven by one motor and can carry a lot of weight. That was mounted at an angle this year. We did some math, pretty basic stuff like Pythagorean theorem and stuff like that, to calculate what angle it needed to be, and it turns out 45 degrees was just about perfect. That's awesome because it means we didn't need to use any 3D printed parts or anything like that to reduce our structural stability.
All right, so I'm the coder on the group. I, of course, make the code for the robot. The code is very important. It controls the entirety of the robot. So they have these little controllers on them that actually run the motors. And this is where I write the code that goes onto that controller to actually make those motors spin. And if I don't have that, the entire robot just doesn't do anything. It's just a blank inanimate object that doesn't do anything. I use a language called Java. It's a coding language made by Oracle. That's not too important, but you can use that particular coding language on what's called Android Studio. It's a IDE, which is what's used to actually put the code on the robot. It's pretty similar to other languages like I don't know, C# or stuff like that. Not too important, but it's just that's the language I use.
I'm Atticus. I'm a coder. I chose to be coder because, well, of course, it said I'd be a decent fit, so I said, sure, why not? I'll give it a try. Code is important to the robot, mainly because it's like the brain of the operation. It's the one thing to keep the robot moving. It's the thing that you have to write for it to work.
Okay, so the coding robot it's not meant for competition. It's mainly used so that it can buy the actual main robot a lot more time to build it instead of worrying about if the code works. So our code, our little robot only has the amount of electronics that it needs to actually just move, and that's all you actually need for it. So that's all we're building. It only makes sure that the code is actually working before competition, which is why we have the coding robot, so that both we know that the code works and we know that the main robot works, and we're working on them both at the same time.
So I'm the main builder of the robot, and the reason why we need builders is so that we have a robot to compete with and not just a hunk of junk. So it's very, I don't even know what to explain. So the robot is, I forgot what these wheels were called. I don't know what they're called, but they're wheels that allow the robot to move in any direction. If you spin them a certain way, it will go sideways in a circle and other ways. So, and right now we're changing out the motors so then it will work better.
My name's Marissa, and I'm the assistant director for the Metal Knights team. I send emails and work on the grants and stuff like that. We wouldn't have sponsorships, and we have no money, then equals no team, stuff like that.